Okay, so we had all this Daniel Bryan WrestleMania talk. I'm gonna swing this over to my side because the indie world loves around WrestleMania time is WrestleCon.
Yep.
WrestleCon. I'm gonna say first to me a match that totally marked me out at WrestleCon. Chikara put on a show at WrestleCon. And Jigsaw and the Shard, collectively known as the Pieces of Hate, went against Mike Quackenbush, one of the greatest of all time, and he got to pick a partner of his choice, and he picked one of his heroes, Jushin Thunder Liger, formed the team of Thunder and Lightning, and
that's so great. I love that.
That was awesome to me to see, like, one of my favorites of indie guys, and then to see like one of my favorite indie guys of all time picks one of his favorite guys of all time to team together. Awesome. And then also at WrestleCon, a huge, WrestleMania.
We had the streak.
The streak ended. For indie wrestling, in my opinion, indie wrestling had its own streak that was broken the week of WrestleMania. Johnny Gargano, probably my other favorite indie guy, next to Mike Quackenbush or Eddie Kingston, or whoever, I like them all, was the Open the Freedom Gate champion in Dragon Gate USA for 873 days.
Nearly 3 years.
873 days. From November 13th, 2011. So what?
Suck on that, punk.
Yeah, right? And this is he was posting all these comments on Twitter and shit while Punk was doing his whole numbers thing.
Think about this. He doubled the time that he was champion as opposed to CM Punk.
Yeah. November 13th, 2011 until April 4th, 2014. 873 days. 21 successful title defenses, I think, or 20 successful title defenses.
Yeah, 21.
21 title defenses. I mean, he won the title from Yamato, which is saying something in its own right, but then having title defenses against Akira Tozawa and Roderick Strong, Chris Hero, Sami Callihan, Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, Yoshino, AR Fox.
So, the streaks are the same.
Shingo, Ricochet.
They're both 21-1.
Yeah. What? This. Nice.
No words.
That is the greatest revelation. That in April of 2014, 2 21-0 streaks ended.
That
is ridiculous.
And
The not indie guy.
beautifully done, Thomas. But, a virtual who's who of the Dragon Gate USA and West Coast indie scene guys, all vying for this championship, and Gargano kept it so long, 873 days. I keep repeating that number because in my mind it's completely unfathomable.
Well, and the fact that we went through and we checked to see if any Dragon Gate Championship reign was anywhere close. The only one close was 600 and some odd days.
Still doesn't touch 873 days. And that's saying something. That's not just Dragon Gate USA. That was, Dragon Gate USA, Dragon Gate UK. We checked it all.
Yeah, it.
Well, I challenge you to find a title reign in any company that long.
Yeah, within the last. Within the last 5 years, 10 years.
Like, I was immediately going to say Bruno Sammartino.
Right, there was Bruno Sammartino, there was...
Bob Backlund.
Right, there was these long reigns back
in the 70s,
day.
80s, yeah.
But I'm talking, since the Hulk Hogan era.
Yeah, the only...
After that era, they're...
the only thing in the last 5 years that we...
Say post-WrestleMania 9.
The only thing we can compare that to is CM Punk's.
Yeah,
over
the streak.
Over the year,
and it's dwarfed.
Yeah, it's that is an amazing thing, and that's what is great about the indies is they take a lot of what we want WWE to do, and they establish that in their companies.
Yeah, and and to be honest, Gargano, one of my favorite guys, that's saying something because he's the only indie guy who I own a shirt for.
Yeah.
So, and for me to say this, he couldn't have dropped into a more deserving guy in Ricochet, who's had a stellar last year and a half.
I learned about Johnny Gargano through watching him as a part of Fist in Chikara.
By the way, actual Fist Gauntlet.
Fist Gauntlet signed by the members of Fist.
Icarus, Chuck Taylor, Johnny Gargano.
Sorry, Grand Kuma, you need to sign this too.
Grand Kuma and Sugar
Dunkerton.
Sugar Dunkerton, whatever your name is, Carl, Jamal, Wilson, something like that. I don't know, we're friends on Facebook. We're not really actually friends, but, you know, you added me, thanks.
Become friends with him.
Like, become friends with me in real life.
Yeah, just talk
send
to him
a message.
times. Please.
Thank you. I love you.
But anyway.
Your chocolatey deliciousness.
This is getting awkward now.
No hope.
You know, learning about Johnny Gargano from being a part of Fist in Chikara, I realized how good of a wrestler he is. He is one of those guys, you know, granted all the indie guys, most of the indie guys, I can't say all the indie guys, but most of the indie guys bust their ass day in and day out.
Oh yeah.
They want to be recognized. They want to put on a show for fans like us. And it's great to see someone like Johnny Gargano get rewarded like that.
Absolutely.
Because he does what he does it well, and he deserves recognition like this. And Dragon Gate did that for him.
So, awesome title reign from Johnny Gargano, some awesome matches. I mean, we ordered the pay-per-view where he had his title defense against Chris Hero.
Chris Hero, oh
amazing.
My God. I thought for sure Chris Hero was going to take it.
Yeah, especially because this is going to be on my next topic here. You know, he drops it to Ricochet. That's an awesome win for you, Ricochet. Kind of skyrockets you to one of my other topics. But my next topic about the indie circuit right now is how many of the awesome talents that have been under contract with other companies are now resurging themselves into the indie circuit, putting the lifeblood back in the indie circuit that was there 10 years ago. And I'm talking about Chris Hero getting his release from WWE. Just recently, this past couple weeks ago, Matt Sydal.
Yeah,
who,
Evan Bourne.
Evan Bourne being released, Matt Sydal, who's all over the place in the indies. Bad Influence leaving TNA. Kazarian and Daniels, awesome guys.
TNA dropped the friggin' ball.
And AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, Chris Sabin, Kazarian.
Oh, I didn't even say Chris Sabin. Chris freaking Sabin.
Yeah. The fact
half of the Motor City Machine Guns.
Now, yeah, granted, WWE lost Chris Hero. They gave up Chris Hero. They gave up Matt Sydal, which, you know, Chris Hero just wasn't doing what they wanted him to do.
There's understandable reasons there. I can see both sides of the Chris Hero
Absolutely.
issue.
Because, you know, WWE has a specific way they do things. And Chris Hero wasn't going the way that they wanted him to.
Yeah. And you know what, though? I give all the credit in the world to Chris Hero for trying to use a name like Cassius Ohno.
Cassius Ohno is hard to get over.
That was a terrible name.
It's one of those... It's just one of those things...
That name was strong enough to defeat the Streak.
Chris Hero should have defeated the Streak.
Five reasons why Cassius Ohno should have ended the Streak.
Give us your top 5 reasons why Cassius Ohno's name should have defeated
just
the
the
Streak.
name.
Oh.
But on top of that, we see these indie stars who aren't given the proper direction in WWE. They're now getting a chance to take the platform that they had and establish it to what we know they're good at.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think about now is, like, right when they release Hero is, like, almost the exact same time is when they started trying to make the NXT TV show super prominent on the network and on Hulu Plus or whatever it's on.
They dropped the ball there.
Yeah.
That, I mean, if you could imagine if they would have kept him on, even with the stupid name, when the NXT Arrival live show happens.
One thing that we're all in unison about is since February, we've had the debut of the WWE Network, and the greatest thing to watch on the network every week is NXT.
Absolutely.
And
NXT gets me excited.
NXT, and it's amazing to see how many of the popular indie stars are on NXT.
Oh.
Granted, Chris Hero's not there anymore.
I know.
But you have Pac, who is now Adrian Neville. He is the NXT champion. He is proving his dominance every day, and he's not missing a beat. A young man known as Sami Zayn, who is now in NXT, having a wonderful feud against people like Tyson Kidd, Tyler Breeze. He's so good at what he does.
And Ty, you bring on we might have to cut this one short again because I think NXT is another place where we can have
NXT. We're gonna go forever about NXT.
Comment section below if you think we should do an NXT episode.
Basically, comment whatever episode you think we should do.
Yeah, on top of maybe our weekly episodes where we recap what happened.
Regardless, on a weekly basis, we're gonna talk about NXT because it's too good not to.
Absolutely. But yeah, having this resurgence of these guys, Sabin, Styles, Hero, Kazarian Daniels, and Matt Sydal, all back on the indie scene for the first time. And, you can't also take away a lot of the other guys who got released in this last cut by WWE.
Yeah,
Kurt Hawkins is already booked for some shows.
Brodus
Clay is already booked for the House of Hardcore shows.
JTG won't pick up his phone.
JTG's afraid to pick up his phone now.
He's going to get fired. Again. He's not even working anywhere right now.
He's going to get fired for each of the 7 years that he worked for WWE.
And now I hear Oksana is single. I made that up, but Oksana, if you're...
Don't toy with my emotions like that.
If you're watching, I am also single. He's single, but he's shorter than me.
I'm not.
Which means you're the perfect size for me. He's too tall.
Let's not lie, you would break him.
And I'd enjoy every second of it.
And then another thing that I passed over that happened in February that's not on my notes or anything, so that's why it got passed over. National Pro Wrestling Day. We had this crazy brawl at the end between all the former Chikara guys. All the former Chikara villains come back. The huge brawl, which releases the announcement for the first time since the summer of last year that on 5/25/14, Chikara is going to be reborn.
Holy shit! I am not an indie guy, but this guy right here got me so into Chikara.
We are all more or less Chikara guys.
We are Chikara.
Hashtag we are Chikara.
Alright.
National Pro Wrestling Day was a great moment. For people that enjoy the indies, for people who enjoy Chikara, they had this unbelievable storyline. The Ashes of Chikara. We spent hours watching the videos that they posted on YouTube
after
building, and we're just thinking, oh my god, where's this gonna go? We knew something was gonna happen at National Pro Wrestling Day, but we had no clue that it was going to be that big, that great, and have the great news that in May we were gonna get Chikara back.
Chikara was going to come back to life 5/25/14. And not to discount that was the coolest part of the whole show. There were also a lot of really awesome matches.
There were great matches. You had Hallowicked versus Mike Bennett.
That was phenomenal. Dasher Hatfield versus Kingston. Opening match. 2 out of 3 falls. Drew Gulak versus Colt Cabana.
Oh god, yeah. The end was a little fast.
But
still a great
you couldn't
match.
pick 2 better pure wrestlers to Colt Cabana, a lot of times he gets stereotyped because he's funny. He's a funny guy, and contrary to what a lot of people believe, funny does make money.
For sure.
Jim Cornette. But Colt Cabana is one of the best pure wrestlers, especially when you want him in that catch-as-catch-can style.
Yeah.
We had all those matches. The bonus main event match where they put the Batiri and those ice creams versus Icarus, Worker, and Osirian Portal, I think, and someone else.
Yeah. They just... National Pro Wrestling Day...
was amazing.
It was an amazing show from beginning to end.
And it was a free iPay-per-view. Great collaboration, and it was working for a charitable benefit hosted by Maria Kanellis to get the mosquito nets put up in African countries.
Yes.
To stop progressing the malaria crap that goes on over there.
I think it was like $10 Like $10 donation would buy like a dollar buys a net or something like that.
So it was something like every.
Or every.
I think it's every $10 bought a net. I donated $20 myself.
Yeah, it was a great show. It had a great message. It was fun, and we got.
Oh yes, fun. Wrestling is fun. The Block Party versus the Baltic Siege.
That was hilarious.
Show stealer. The Brown Morning of Belarus is dead now, I think, because he got hit with the Soviet Thunderhammer. But
I still find this team ridiculous, but I think they're hilarious at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
It's hard not to love them.
And for me, like, my favorite phrase in the world to say right now is the proletariat war of Moldova.
I can't say that. Here we are, post WrestleMania. You know, we're coming off a lot of highs. We're coming off the low of
the streak
being broken, and going back to what we were saying earlier, they took Cesaro and they're like, okay, he is a single star now, but he can't talk very well on his own.
That's in a different language.
This was the biggest switch ever on a Monday Night Raw. You had Paul Heyman come out earlier in the show and get booed out of the building because he kept putting over the fact that Brock Lesnar had beaten the streak. Like that, except it was a lot louder. Then later in the show, you had him do a full 180, and he began managing Cesaro.
Yeah, when Cesaro...
And the crowd lost their mind.
When Cesaro uttered the phrase, "I'm not a Zeb Coulter guy, I'm a Paul Heyman guy,"
the crowd lost their mind, and all of a sudden, everyone
loved. They forgot who Brock Lesnar was. I forgot.
They might have forgot. Well, I don't think they forgot who Brock Lesnar was.
For that moment,
they didn't give a shit who Brock Lesnar was.
But no, seriously, folks, the pairing, Heyman, Cesaro, gold.
And it's been gold since
before it happened.
You can't make gold before it happens.
Well, technically, because that's how Heyman explains Cesaro getting it out at the Memorial Battle Royal. When things that happen.
So not only do we have the golden combination of Paul Heyman and Cesaro, but we now have Daniel Bryan legitimately as the World Heavyweight Champion.
Absolutely.
And this almost spawned two different storylines at the same time, because you had Triple H, who wanted to destroy Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
You had Randy Orton and you had Batista, who both wanted singles title shots. So they were wanting to destroy Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan had the Shield in his corner. Because the Shield had just as much issue with the Authority as Daniel Bryan did. So not only do you get Daniel Bryan moving forward as a champion, but you get the resurgence of Evolution to face the Shield.
Absolutely. And just moving on to Extreme Rules, kind of like Elimination Chamber, I feel
busted their ass.
It was a pay-per-view that was WWE saying, sorry that...
sorry the Royal Rumble sucked.
Sorry the Royal Rumble sucked.
Okay,
sorry we broke the streak.
Elimination Chamber was sorry the Rumble sucked. Payback was we're sorry the Undertaker... Or Extreme Rules was sorry the Undertaker lost.
Yeah.
And you had a 6-man... What was it? No Holds Barred?
Yes.
Yeah.
6-man No Holds Barred. No, it was Falls Count Anywhere. Second one was No Holds Barred elimination match. That was a payback.
Yeah.
You had a 6-person Falls Count Anywhere match. Evolution versus the Shield. And though you still had some lackluster Batista moments,
but getting a lot better.
But getting better, you had 5 other guys that were busting their ass.
Good try, Dave. Yeah, the Extreme Rules pay-per-view was awesome. You had that match with Shield Evolution. You had this is where they did what? Swagger, Van Dam, and
Cesaro, triple threat.
Yeah,
and then the Bray Wyatt, John Cena cage
match.
So good.
Okay, I need to say this now. I've never been terrified of a Bray Wyatt segment. until Extreme Rules. Granted, I was running off of no sleep for 20-some hours, but when that child was in the spotlight singing, "He's got the whole world in his hands," in a voice like that.
Yeah, Barry White.
That sounds like it's
voiceover.
When a distorted demon voice is coming out of a child, that is the most terrifying thing to me. And the look on his face, the look on John Cena's face.
I'm gonna fuck with him if he ever has kids.
Holy shit!
This is the thing.
That was an awesome moment. All the moments leading up to this is where we go back.
Right. Well,
to John Cena, Bray Wyatt being awesome.
Well, this is a thing. What I was saying about John Cena brings his A game with these high-level superstars. He may not be the best wrestler. He is not the best wrestler. He is one of the worst wrestlers.
That's because WWE doesn't let him.
Right. But when he brings his A game, when John Cena brings his A game, he is one of the best storytellers in wrestling.
I agree. So yeah, we got a great storyline out of John Cena and Bray Wyatt. We got great matches out of John Cena and Bray Wyatt.
Absolutely.
And I would actually
We got great matches out of John Cena and Luke Harper. We need to mention those.
This is true. Luke Harper, he is his own entity in the Wyatt family. He is a follower and he's a leader at the same time.
Absolutely.
Because after Payback, they didn't have Bray Wyatt on Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's great is, Payback skipping a little farther forward because we're still in May. But,
I think we can kind of, now that we are doing the next, two pay-per-view, we can kind of, put these two together.
Yeah.
All the storylines kind of,
yeah, there's a lot of...
Let's face it, we love Bray Wyatt. Bray
Absolutely.
Wyatt's great. Bray Wyatt is amazing. Bray Wyatt is a good wrestler. But, I'm going to be completely honest, the Harper-Cena matches, I think, are a step above the Wyatt-Cena matches. Except for maybe the one they had at Payback.
Yeah.
Where they were beating the crap out of each other. But Harper is this. I feel like this was the moment where he's like, okay, we have Wyatt Cena, which is great because of the build-up and, the good matches they put on. But he's like, to keep people interested in between these good matches with awesome build-up, we need to have some really captivating matches. The Harper-Cena match series, to me, are the best matches they've been having on Raw SmackDown since whenever.
Yeah.
I feel like Luke Harper became the Roman Reigns of the Wyatt.
Oh, yeah.
Of the Wyatts.
Absolutely.
Because
I feel like
when you brought in the Shield, everyone was like, what is wrong with Dean Ambrose?
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose was the focal point, but then they had that moment, that Royal Rumble moment, when it was like, Roman Reigns is freaking good. And the crowd started chanting for Roman Reigns. These matches that Luke Harper has with John Cena is that moment. It's, okay, we get the crazy guy that talks all the time, but check out this big dude.
Yeah.
He can go, and he does things that big men shouldn't do.
Oh, yeah.
But he does them well. So we had great matches between John Cena and Bray Wyatt. We had great matches with Luke Harper and John Cena. And now we've got both of them going into Money in the Bank. So it's almost like they could pick up where they ended at Payback.
Absolutely.
Or they could go separate ways.
Right.
It's really hard to tell because they're both vying for a championship, but they still have those issues against one another. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at Money in the Bank.
That's the main thing I'm really interested in about the World Championship ladder match. Is will they use that as a continuation of John Cena versus Bray Wyatt?
Yeah.
And now going back, as far as great trios going into Money in the Bank. Now, we just recently had, off of two great matches against Evolution, two unbelievable matches against Evolution, we finally saw the disbanding of the Shield.
Roman Reigns, sorry about your back after Payback. That looked nasty.
Now, I am going to say, because I know you didn't see it, the turn.
Yes. I saw...
Did you see the turn?
Yes.
Will you agree with me in saying that is the greatest heel turn you've ever seen in your life?
Okay, here was my thing going into that
I'm not going to say that.
Batista...
You can watch wrestling.
...was leaving.
That's true.
I came up with the theory What if they turn Roman Reigns and have him take Batista's spot in Evolution?
The new Batista.
Right.
Oh shit!
That
You
was-
did call that.
Yeah.
The better Batista.
That was my theory going in to that Raw. And then that Raw, Seth Rollins turns.
So here's a question: were you disappointed that it was Seth Rollins?
No, I was excited because I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, that was the thing, is I think out of everything, the fact that they've been putting so much hype on Roman Reigns, that we knew he was going to be the focal point of something. Dean Ambrose has always had that really edgy heel side to him, that I think it kind of became that lost in translation. No one expected. I would have expected Roman Reigns to turn heel. I would expect Dean Ambrose to turn heel. The last guy out of the three I expected to turn heel was Seth Rollins.
Right. Roman Reigns was so over that it seemed like the most opportune time to turn him heel, because it would have just pissed everyone off.
So anyway, what was great about Seth Rollins turning on the Shield is that from the beginning, the Shield has had focal points for Dean Ambrose, because he was like that first initial like, wait, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Then Roman Reigns had the Royal Rumble. Seth Rollins didn't have that. He didn't have that moment. It was like, this is Seth Rollins. Like, he had some great matches, but there weren't people chanting for Seth Rollins at
He
shows.
had some great matches, and he had some like
Standout moments.
right, some standout moments, but nothing that really drew attention on him. Nothing that put him in the spot.
No, it specifically drew more attention to the Shield.
Right.
As an entity. So to have him, and they built it up by starting to call him the architect of the Shield.
Yeah.
Which I thought that's a really weird name to give him.
Right.
It made sense when there was that like, oh, the Shield's gonna break up and he's the one that's keeping them together.
Right.
He made it about him. He made Seth Rollins relevant on his own. And he single-handedly...
On his own, with the help of Randy Orton and Triple H.
And
No, that was the thing. He didn't need Randy Orton and Triple H.
And here's the one part where I feel really bad. Is like after Roman Reigns' back looked like after it looked like ground beef, and then the next night on Raw he gets whacked.
He got destroyed with that kendo stick at Payback, and the night after he got destroyed with a steel chair by both Seth Rollins and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
But that moment right there, granted you have a lot more wrestling experience as far as watching heel turns, but for me, that is almost as surprising, but I don't... It's better in the sense, like, I would compare it to Austin turning and joining McMahon at the end of WrestleMania 17.
That was really well
Just
done.
out of nowhere. Granted, I don't think that particular storyline did a lot for Stone Cold.
No.
But this storyline is going to do wonders for
Well,
Seth Rollins.
Absolutely.
Well, you got to think, what did it need to do for Stone Cold at that point?
Yeah, Stone Cold was already so established.
Well, no,
it was just a fresh breath of air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something different.
Yeah. True. Okay, I'll accept it. But yeah, it was that like...
You better accept it.
It was, you didn't see it. They didn't even allude to a problem within the Shield throughout Raw.
No,
they had
not at all.
Evolution crumble at the beginning of the show. You had Batista quit. You know Triple H had that giant shiner on his eyes. Randy Orton
Was sad.
Randy Orton's always sad.
No, he's not. He's a party skeleton.
Party skeleton.
By the way, every time
Check out the Evolution shirt where there's
the Evolution
party
shirt.
skeleton.
Bulky skeleton Batista, Shao Kahn skeleton Triple H, and party skeleton Randy Orton. From here on out, every time I refer to Randy Orton, I'll probably call him party skeleton.
Yeah.
Just so you know who I'm talking about.
So you had this moment where you're like, wow, Evolution, like, they got back together and then they just fucking crumble. And you think that it's done. Because you've got Daniel Bryan as the champion, you've got the Shield is on top of the world, destroying 3 of the greatest superstars in WWE, and then Seth Rollins makes that turn. There was no promo for the Shield prior to it. They did their promo. Triple H came out, and all of a sudden Seth Rollins is heel. It was amazing. It was so unexpected. It made it.
It's still real to us, damn it.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like I felt bad. I was like, why?
Yeah.
Why did Seth Rollins, like, in my mind, I was trying to figure out a reason why Seth Rollins would have turned. And the fact that they didn't they didn't allude to anything made it, like...
a mystery.
It was a great moment for Seth Rollins.